Greetings, Earthlings. My name is John Cornelius O'Callaghan V from a band called The Main, and this is the XOXO from Love and Anxiety in real time, track by track with rock sound. Yeah, Sticky is the first song on the record and also the very first song that we wrote for XOXO. It was sort of a table setter. It was like basically we had written this song and nothing else, and it was like, all right, now go try to beat this song every time you write a song for the record. So it was a song that wasn't meant to be, in that I was in Los Angeles writing, and I was gonna fly home and ended up staying and doing a session that night, and thus Sticky was born. And so it was definitely a good way it was a good way to set the bar, and it helped us kind of push ourselves the rest of the way. Yeah, Lips actually started out, if you can believe it, Lips started out as an even poppier song. The arrangement that I had initially for the demo was a bit like that Tom Tom Club song. What you gonna do? Blah blah blah. So the guitar part, and actually the guitar part that sort of mimics that same guitar part in the Tom Tom Club, actually made its way onto the track. This song on the record, for all intents, is probably the poppiest song, but I think between this and Dirty Pretty, it's a tie. And I think that people will hear that we definitely didn't shy away from the pop elements of what I hope people like about The Main. Yeah, so Love in Real Time came about, actually, it was attached to Lips. And that's why if you, in sequential order, when you listen to it, it's seamless. So when I wrote Lips, it was initially called In This Room, and sort of like the segue, what you could hear at the start of Love in Real Time, you can hear like room, room, room. And basically it was like a happy accident. I hit shift and space bar on my computer while I was working in Pro Tools. And when you do that, it halves whatever track by 50%. So it plays it in slow motion almost. And Love in Real Time was born. So when we went to sort of make a track listing and build out the track, we wanted this to be sort of like the first Easter egg on the record. And I kind of penned the lyrics, and something wasn't feeling right. And then I just started to like lean into the record title. And so this is almost like, if you can imagine the first half being Love in Real Time, and then the second half of the record being Anxiety in Real Time. This was like the sort of the opening credits for the record, if you will. And yeah, it's a throwback sort of 80s sound, but done, I guess, in the style of The Main. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these songs on XOXO didn't really stray too far from the original sound of the demo. And I think in the past, we've always tried to like take whatever demos we have and sort of put them inside of a box. And with this record, we kind of let things live in whatever world they were existing in. High Forever especially. This was sort of, I wanted like, I was looking for songs that kind of have that march, that shuffle drum groove. And there was like a Madonna song and the Beatles, and I kind of wanted to lean into, I heard a Tears for Fears song that kind of did something similar. And even the guitar part, you know, kind of is our homage to Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But yeah, we really kind of just let this one live in its own world. And I'm really happy that we did, because it feels like the oddball, but it's really important, especially 8 records in, to take chances and to kind of experiment with your sound and see, you know, now we'll just see if people dig it, and if not, it's like a chance worth taking. High Forever is like the first time lyrically too, where you'll hear kind of that idea of like comfortable in love, and the idea that you know, even love has its own peaks and valleys, and this is sort of you know, kind of my pledge that even in the valley, you know, I'll be by your side. So I'm really excited for people to hear this one. Yeah, April 7th. Well, everybody will ask me about the date and its significance. Straight off the rip, April 7th is when I met my now wife. It happened to be the release day of Lovely Little Lonely, and it's kind of just one of those dates that will forever be for me. The song, I worked with Colby Wedgeworth, who had produced Pioneer, American Candy, and Lovely Little Lonely. But for the first time, I worked with him in a songwriter to songwriter capacity and not just a producer. And it was really great to kind of, I don't know, have his brain to bounce ideas off and to kind of utilize. It's kind of one of those songs that like, it reminds me like of Anxiety in Real Time, in that it kind of, the guitars don't really do what the main traditionally does with the guitar in the chorus, in that we normally go big diamond kind of blah, 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 and this one kind of just like shimmers and it kind of cruises. And yeah, this one is going to be a real interesting one live, because it's kind of in that mid-tempo, but it's got some energy. So I'm excited to see how people react when we play it. Yeah. If Your Light Goes Out is, it feels familiar to us, but it also kind of explores that area of like, maybe even what is kind of generally happening on like the radio. But done in our way. And I feel like I wanted to make sure that it felt like anybody could just sing along to it. You know, like you said, it has energy, but it is kind of like our ballad on the record, if there is one. And if, I guess for lack of a better word, maybe it's like our anthem for XOXO. Yeah, I'm really curious about this one too. There was like a few that this one and High Forever. These are like the two that I'm curious about, because I actually, you know, being completely candid, I wasn't completely sold on this song going into recording, and I was outnumbered, and I was outnumbered heavily. I think it was 4-1. Jared especially was so persistent and insistent that this needed to be on the record. So if nobody likes it, it's all their fault. This one was all about energy, obviously. Pretender, again, we didn't stray too far from the demo. It always felt like important in that it wasn't as pop as everything else. I mean, sure, there's a pop chorus, but yeah, it was just like something that felt brand new for our band, something that maybe we haven't explored in a long time, and something that we didn't want to run away from. I think what was most important for me is that the lyrics were what I wanted to convey. And I actually had a full other set of lyrics and a full other chorus melody. And it was actually one of the first songs that we ended up recording in the studio. And after we sort of recorded the rest of the record, I went back and I wasn't happy with the lyrical content and the way this one felt. And I ended up re-recording it. And it's kind of weird because I've done that a couple of times. I did this one on my own as far as the vocals. So like when the guys first heard it was like the first time that they would have ever heard it in that form. And the same thing happened on our record, Lovely Little Lonely, with a song called Reverie, Sound of Reverie. So it's kind of fun, like, seeing how they react the first time they're hearing it, because Matt Keller, who had helped engineer the record, and I had already sat with it for a while, and we were feeling really strong about it. And yeah, it was, fortunately they dug it. And I think it serves a great purpose on the record, in that it breaks up all that sweetness, and it kind of has some energy and darker undertones. Yeah, Dirty Pretty Beautiful is arguably the most pop the Maine has ever been, unless we were covering Backstreet Boys or like something like that. But definitely, it's odd because of the few people that I've shown the record. It's definitely one of the ones that the ears perk up the most to, throughout the record, which is really surprising, because it kind of speaks to where our heads were at on this record. It's like, you have this built up idea of who you are, and you perceive yourself in such a different light than I think, you don't give yourself enough credit. And I think this was just a case of, like, again, us not trying to overcomplicate things. Like, do it, record the song like the demo feels. Like, you pick the demo, you pick the song because you fell in love with a vibe. And this is a perfect example of that. And yeah, there's just a lot of like ear candy moments in this one. The synth in the verse, dropping the vocal, pretty much doing the chorus twice, but dropping the vocal a couple of pitches down, and kind of getting that, like, almost like a Dua Lipa feel. Yeah, so this one, I know that it'll be energetic live if people gravitate towards it on the record. Definitely just has like some of the hookiest moments on the record for sure. Yeah, this is almost this is like the maybe our anti-climax of our movie that is XOXO. It's sort of like the moment before the moment, if that makes any sense. Again, it lived in this world in the demo form that just felt important. It felt emotional, and we didn't really stray too far from that. It took everything inside of us to not go like big, guitar orchestra kind of feel on the chorus. It took everything to kind of keep it where it was, and let it be, and let it live in that lane, and just drive it. We kind of reference like War on Drugs a little bit. Definitely just like it's one of those ones that I feel like people will just put on in their car, and hopefully just kind of contemplate all that is life and all that is living. So it's a really special moment right before the last song on the record, and I think it serves a great purpose in that it's like I was saying, it represents the second half of the act, the act of XOXO. Really, really happy about this one. For those who've kind of followed our albums, that we put a lot of emphasis on closer songs, like final tracks. You want to start the record off with something really grabbing, and then you want to end the record with something that hopefully is like a good reprieve from the experience that you just had, like a good, like, big last breath kind of thing. We've done the sing-along thing with Mars. We'll All Be was kind of the same thing, and we knew we wanted, just based off of what we had lying around as far as songs, we knew we wanted this one last just from the get-go. The guitar part that kind of starts the song. And then, yeah, we have this idea of sort of having this, it was sort of like our Killers moment where they play, I think it's When You Were Young, But it's kind of like this, the streamers are coming down, and you know, there's tears being shed, but in the greatest way possible. The song's about my grandmother, and it's a really special one for me lyrically, probably the most important one for me lyrically on the record. You know, we definitely didn't want this record to feel like it was created in a pandemic, but this song sort of speaks to the idea of loss and the fragility of life, and you know, that compounded by everything that was happening in the world and over the past, you know, 17 months. So yeah, it'll definitely be one of the more energetic ones to play live, and yeah, it's definitely one of my. We'll see if people like super dig it, then it'll be one of my favorite songs to play live. And I have a feeling that people will gravitate towards this one.